morning. I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations that are 501c3 nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they're here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Yeah. In 1967, PPEP Incorporated was founded by Dr. John David Arnold aboard a 1957 Chevy bus named La Tortuga, the Tortoise, with a $19,000 grant from the Tucson Committee of Economic Opportunity. Its mission to improve the quality of rural life. 4 decades later, PPEP remains dedicated to carrying out the dreams of its first Bracero migrant farm workers for a better way of life. Si se puedo. Yes, we can. The National Farm Worker Jobs Program, NFJP, is a nationally directed program administered on a statewide basis by PPEP to assist migrant and seasonal farm workers and their families to attain greater economic stability through career services, training services, housing assistance, youth services, and training-related wraparound services. NFJP facilitates the coordination of services for MSFWs in coordination and partnership with the American Job Center Network, also known as one-stop job centers to access additional services in the public workforce system. They're funded by the Department of Labor, and areas in the state of Arizona they are targeting to help are Cochise, Graham, Greenlee, Maricopa, Mojave, La Paz, Pinal, Pima, Santa Cruz, Yavapai, and Yuma counties. My goodness, they're all over. And today, they're right here because I'm fortunate enough to speak with Ana Lopez, Workforce Development Specialist over at NFJP. Ana, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Hi, thank you.
And also we've got Christine Nelson, Regional Coordinator for the National Farm Worker Jobs Program. Welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you very much.
I was excited to learn the origin story because I did realize I had PPEP on here over a year ago and learned about the Tortuga. I learned all about it because I myself drive a 1969 VW bus in my business trying to help people and educate kids and do all this fun stuff. So when I read that origin story, it really meant a lot to me about how this all began, and it shows the ability and the energy that one person can have to make a difference in their community and for people they care about. So before we jump into everything, why don't you give me a little 101 and a refresher of what PPEP is all about, and then we're going to talk about your program and everything that you're doing and everyone you're helping.
Yes. So just letting you know, La Tortuga is still alive and well. It is actually parked inside the PPEP building at our main offices.
Really?
Yes. And people come in to take tours of the Hall of Fame at the PEP offices in La Tortuga.
That's incredible. Where are the offices located?
Our physical address is 802 East 46th Street, Tucson, Arizona, 85713.
There you go. And also, let's take a look online because they got a great website that you can follow all the stuff on. It is at PPEP, PPEP, and then NFJP for their organization, the National Farm Worker Jobs Program. So PPEPNFJP.org. Fun to spell. So go look it up. You can Google it, and I'm sure you'll find it as well. But now tell me a little bit about what your organization's really all about and what you're doing for our national farm workers.
So what the National Farm Worker Jobs Program is about is we, as an outreach team, go out to farms, nurseries, dairies, greenhouses, poultry houses, produce houses, vineyards, canning facilities, farmers markets, ranches, anywhere we see any agricultural business being conducted, to speak with farm workers about upgrading their skills by the way of putting them through training, doing some business service with them like a work experience or on-the-job training. Our program also reaches out to the agricultural workers' dependents, such as their spouses, their kids that are coming up through high school. This is a really good program for agricultural workers and their families to help upgrade their skills.
That's a big deal. And again, people forget, and they overlook farmers. They overlook these people working for us and taking care of us, feeding us and doing all the hard work, the hard labor that it is. A very overlooked group here in the country, and we got to care about our farmers, help them out. And it's always good when any organization is helping everybody out to level them up and level up their skills so that they can grow and really enhance everything that they're doing in their lives. So now let me ask you this. Anna, why don't you give me a little bit about the organization as well and just some of the basics on what we're going to talk about?
Yes, so our mission is to help farmers and their dependents, as how Christine mentioned. We provide economic stability and career growth for farm workers and their families. And the goal is that for them to be self-sufficient, for them to have more job opportunities, and for them to grow.
Heck yeah. And how do you do this? Because I can see on the website that you have services. You got Meet the Team, you got About Us. But I'm looking down at some of these services because there is employment and training. You got comprehensive case management and support services, just trying to help people get through all of the trials and tribulations of what it is. So let's talk about some of your employment and training and some of the programs you have more specifically. Tell me about some of the programs.
I'll go ahead and start from the beginning, just to walk you through how a basic service works.
Sure.
So when we have an agricultural worker that is interested, there are minimum qualifications. The first and foremost one, is that they have to have been an agricultural worker anytime within the last 2 years. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to have been an agricultural worker the full 2 years, the full 24 months, just at any time during the last 2 years. And then also the second is they have to meet the low income guidelines that we have. Now, one way that we can determine this quickly is if the farm worker or the agriculture worker currently has access or SNAP or TANF or has received any other assistance within the last couple years, such as rental assistance, utility assistance, or any other assistance that's out there that can be documented and proven. So those are the two main things, is that they have to have been an agricultural worker, and then the second is low income status. The third is that they have to be of legal status of the United States. They have to have either an American birth certificate, or they have to have a permanent resident card that's not going to expire soon. Fourth is that we verify their current resident address by using like their phone bill, some sort of mail that was addressed to them at their home address within the last 30 days. And then if you're a male that wants to join, you have to be registered with the Selective Service. We will check that. If you're not registered, we will have you contact Selective Service and get you registered, or another letter that shows that they are exempt.
Okay. What is that Selective Service qualification? Explain that. Selective Service, military service?
Yes, Selective Service. Usually this happens when males first get their driver's license or their ID cards from motor vehicle.
Right.
There is a questionnaire that they fill out, yes or no. Usually everybody marks yes. They don't know that they've registered, but there is a way to check on the Selective Service website by their last name, their social, and their birth date. And once we get it, we just print the letter to show that they have already registered.
I feel like I got this letter when I turned 18. I almost remember it because I was mad. So that's the thing about it. So, okay, so there's all of the minimums and all the stuff that it takes to qualify for someone to get involved. But let me talk about, let me ask about, like, what is some of the training then? Like, what are some of the courses that you are getting them into, or the education programs? How long does a program last? And that sort of thing. Like, what are you educating them in?
So once they've provided all this documentation for us, we get them into our computer system. Everything is computerized, so they would have to come in and sign to confirm their enrollment process. During the enrollment process, we also take them on what we call a My Journey process, which is we have them do assessments to determine what fields of work that they might be interested in. Initially, up front, they tell us, oh, I want to get a CDL, I want to go into accounting, I want to be a dental assistant, I want to be a medical assistant. That's their initial goal. But when we take them through the My Journey process, we get more details about them and their background and what they want to do in their field of work. So we also use computer systems to help determine. We use the ONET system for them to determine where they really want to go, because some of the farm workers, they only go into occupations that they see their uncles or their grandpas, their dads and mothers do. So it opens their eyes on other occupations that they could get into just with a little bit of training. The ONET system is awesome because it lets us see what the average income, annual income is, what their training goals would look like, how long it would take for them to get into this particular field, and what kind of pay they'll have, what kind of jobs are out there here in the Tucson area or whatever area that they're in. They get a better idea of how much money they're going to make in that field, how long their training is going to take. Once that's all established, we determine finally the training program that they're going into. And we don't like to pigeonhole people into any particular training. We'll let them decide on what they want to do, since they're the ones that are going to be attaining this education. So once we've determined something, we then look for local schools and speak with them to see how long their courses are, how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost. And we'll make that determination with the participants, and we'll make sure that that's exactly what they want to do.
Okay.
And, yeah.
That's making a lot. I'll tell you, you've made me understand it quite a bit, because it's not that you guys have like, oh, we have teachers and we teach these classes here. No, you're going to find the facilities that are going to teach them, and you're going to help them get the clear path to that. Mm-hmm. That is excellent. I love it. What a great, great opportunity you're making for all these fine folks. Because again, getting a CDL, when you're mentioning things with dental hygienist and all that those examples, I'm like, oh, that is not what I thought about. Yeah. I thought it was like, how can we help farm workers become better farm workers or learn how to use better equipment in that field, literally. And no, it's about just, no, that's where you start. But like, look at all the opportunities that you do have here. And that's a big deal. Plus, I'm sure plenty of people, especially in modern times, as we even just say the word migrant, people get upset. And that's the thing, is that, no, we're talking about helping people and giving them all these great opportunities. Having all those minimums for requirements is very important. So that's really important to acknowledge, realize how clear everything is, and that you are helping citizens, okay? U.S. citizens. Don't get upset, everyone. It's so hard to deal with, let me tell you. And we at the radio station, we have a few Spanish language stations. As you came in, you said, oh, can we do that? It's like, yes, so we're going to get you on those stations. I think 2 or 3 of our employees there have become U.S. citizens this year, and we had parties celebrating it. And you don't think that happens anymore right now, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But no, that still does happen, and it's something to celebrate, and that's a big deal. And everything that you're doing is something to celebrate as well, helping people find a clear path to success, because you want to be able to have, it's about attaining financial freedom. That's what I talk about with everyone. You want financial freedom, but how do you get that? You need those skills to find that position to attain it. So giving people those skills and the paths to help them is such a big deal, because even I have a hard time navigating taxes and anything that has to do with a government form. It's very difficult. So any hand that anyone can help with is a big deal. So thanks for doing all of that. What a bunch of great work that you're doing. So I bet how long have you worked for the organization? I'm going to ask you both.
I myself have worked for the organization probably going on 4 or 5 years right now, but I have not been in this role. I've been in this role now for 3 years.
Okay.
Yes.
What's been one of your favorite things that you've seen? I often ask this a little later, but tell me a success story from your experience since doing this.
Yes, we have many success stories, and it's very touching to see the faces of our participants once they've completed their training and they're going to get that job that they've always wanted, that they never thought that they could get, or making the kind of money that they're going to be making. It's really good to see, because most of them talk about their family. I'm doing this for my family, to make a better life and everything. So in addition to getting enrolled into the program and choosing a career field that they want to go into training, we also have support services. What support services are? Services that we provide where if someone needs help paying their rent, their utilities, maybe they need help with finding daycare, getting their kid enrolled in daycare. Clothing, maybe they need to get their boots for their training. They need to get a special pair of jeans. I don't know, maybe a uniform.
That all is true. This is all true. I've talked to many organizations. This is exactly what it is. Yes. It is about helping people get, I'll just call it a leg up. All right. Yeah. How are you going to start that new job if you can't afford the $100 no-slip shoes?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's an important part of it.
Those are the items that we help with support service. And it's all different. That's why it varies for each person. So once they've started the training, we follow them. We follow them throughout the whole process. When we work with our participants, we work up to an individual employment plan. Now, what the individual employment plan is a plan that we're going to follow through with the participant. They will tell us the trainings that they need to get in order to become successful in their vocation, and also the job titles that they want to receive in the future. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will get all those titles, depending on how much work and home life that they're already juggling. So we do try to work with them through all their goals, but mostly the training is the one that we pursue the most. We work with our participants to get to the finish line of attaining their goals. For instance, their CDL or their dental hygienist license.
Yeah.
So once that's complete, or during that time, that's when we help with the support service if they need help. They're very vocal, letting us know what they need help with, and we just follow up with whatever they need help with. There are some caps, there are some guidelines that we have to follow on our end. So those are just things that we have to work through.
Well, I would hope so. We can't just be willy-nilly doing this. You got to have standards, caps, and things. There's all on the website where you've got the employment and training. It says that comprehensive case management. It does say the individual employment plan. What a great idea. That is really that whole thing where it is one-on-one, where you are really focused on that person's specific goals and their specific needs. It's not a template. It is something for everybody to figure out together and get them ready for jobs, which is amazing. And it says support services right there to ensure the success of the participants, following up with everyone, and just making sure that everybody has what they're trying to do. Remember, in America, everyone's always talking about picking yourself up by your bootstraps. And the thing that I learned on episode 1 of Doing Lifestyle Tucson is, well, how are they supposed to do that if they can't afford boots? So why don't we help people get some boots, and then we'll have boots on the ground, helping everybody out, level up, work harder, and then educate themselves so that they can be successful in our community and as citizens. And that's what your organization's all about. See, that's how you do it right there. Boom. So,
Yes.
So it's really good. I love talking about all of this stuff because this does seem like a success story as you're saying it. So with an organization like this, I know that you've got not just one, but many success stories. Tell me a specific success story that pops in your mind when you talk about everything you've done since you've been working there for a few years now.
Yes, thank you. It was hard to narrow down just one for this interview. We did have a gentleman come in to our office a couple years ago, and I did his initial assessment and realized that he was making too much money above our income guidelines. And I told him that, he could come back at a later time. He came back a year later, and we started the process again. He had informed me that he had been laid off for 3 months. So we started the process, collected all the documents again, and we found him to be eligible for the program. He was very excited. When people open up and tell you about their family, they know, you can tell that they're very excited that they're going to do better by their family. And so he decided he wanted to do CDL. So we went through the whole process with him, letting him know the schooling would be here in Tucson, how long it would take. The cost, we already knew how much it was going to cost. That wasn't the issue. Is just getting him enrolled, getting him here to Tucson because he was on the outskirts of Tucson. We helped him he had let us know that he was behind on his utility bills. We helped pay for utility bill and on his car insurance. And we also provided gas cards for him to travel to Tucson, and also some food cards because he did stay here in a hotel that we paid for during the week while he was in training. He did that for 4 weeks. We paid for the hotel for 4 weeks, Monday through Friday. We gave him food cards every week. The only thing with the food cards is we asked for receipts because our food cards should not be spent on alcohol or tobacco.
Right. Accountability, again, great organization, keeping everything transparent. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what they're doing.
Yes, so we do ask for those receipts, and then we also provide them gas cards so they can travel to the school without having to worry about stressing about any other payments that he would need to make for, his bills. We just want him to concentrate solely on attending school and finishing. He did finish within 4 weeks. He the first step of a CDL is, the permit process, and then going through the whole training the rest of the way. And then he also did get his endorsements. He got his hazmat, doubles, triples, and his tanker endorsements. So then after that, we started finding him a job. We did find him a job within weeks, and he is currently making more money than he probably imagined. He is working in the trucking field in a rural area is a really good job for people that that need a good paying job.
That's amazing. And it is what you're doing there. And I know you're getting a little tongue-tied on it.
Yes, I
because
am.
I know, but don't sweat it, because remember, I'm the professional radio broadcaster here, but you're doing great, and hearing about your organization is excellent. And even before, you were telling me a little bit about that story, and something that you didn't mention here was the fact that he knew that the place he was working, like, they lay people off, then they rehire them, and then they lay them off. Let me tell you, the story you just told, my nephew dealt with that. He worked for the town, but every year they let him go. And then they rehire him a few months later because they're unions. So this is how they avoid some of these things to do that. And it affects his life. And then he has to hope he's going to get rehired. Like, it's a lottery, practically, the way they run it out there. And now finally, after all these years, okay, now you're hired after a decade. And now he's ready to perhaps propose to his girlfriend, because he couldn't do it because his job was so insecure and it was holding him back. Organizations do this. So this is not uncommon that this happens everywhere. Again, this is in New York that this happens. So this is not uncommon that this sort of thing from big companies can do this, where you don't have that foundation of, like, this is my career, because they're treating you like a very temporary employee. So getting this person educated in a very short amount of time to get these qualifications so that now he's making more money than me, you said, how dare he? So that's really important, is really showing that, and showing that that's all it takes, helping that person for a little bit of time, and now he's got a stable career. The CDL is a big, important thing to go after, I feel, as well. So it's really great to get that education in there. Ani, you're sitting there this whole time, you haven't said barely 2 words. Tell me something positive about your organization, because we've been talking for already a while and we got to wrap up pretty soon. So just tell me a little bit of your feelings about what you're up to and what you get out of it.
So we also do have employer programs. They benefit the employers and the employees as well. This is for people that are currently employed. And how it works is we partner with the company. So if someone there, the manager, for instance, the operations manager, sees potential in one of the employees for them to get to the next level and the next higher paying job, they give us a list of the people they see potential on, and we pay for half of the salary. We reimburse the company while they are being trained on the job for the new position.
Wow. That's an incredible thing that you're doing. That's very, very good. This is nothing but progress. That's everything that it sounds like. And something I say about organizations is you're making the dominoes fall in the right direction. You really are helping people go step by step by step, even helping the organizations make sure that they can support and help people out. That's incredible. Another big success. And just to remind everyone what we're talking about, it is, yet again, the National Farmworker Jobs Program over at PPEPNFJP.org. Fun to spell. So go look up everything going on there. And there's lots of other things in the tabs. Let's just take a look. I just want to see if there's any testimonials here. Yes, you've got testimonials here. So other great stories talking about what you do and why everything you do matters. Get involved. You can contact them over on their sheet. There's a lot of phone numbers for all these amazing places that they are. Like I said, Santa Cruz County, Pima County, Pinal County, all the counties are there with all of their phone numbers right on the website. You can drop them a line right there as well, because they have a form you can fill out if you'd like to get involved or help them in any which way. Learn all about them in their About Us tab, and you can follow them over on Facebook, because I believe you told me that you have a Facebook page as well. So are there any final thoughts or calls to action before we wrap it up to anyone listening that you'd like to say?
We just another small success story. It's not small, but shorter success story is we were discussing the dependence of agricultural workers. We do have a few of those, but one that stands out the most to me is we have a gal who just finished high school this year in May, and she is currently attending a university here in Arizona. And we were able to help her get enrolled, make sure she's following her plan, her schedule plan, and we also partnered up with a migrant education program to where they help pay for the rest of her tuition. We were not able to help her financially, but we did ask her what she might need to help her in schooling, and she requested an iPad, and so we bought that for her. We bought her an iPad, a stylus, and a keyboard to help her with her studies. So she's going to be going on to her second semester in the spring.
That's incredible. Again, so many different ways that you're helping so many different people at different ages as well. There's a lot to learn and a lot to get involved with over at the National Farm Worker Jobs Program. So if you'd like to, I implore you to do it because there's a lot of people to help and there's a lot of people that need help. And this is an organization that certainly is helping a lot. Because today we made friends with Anna Lopez, Workforce Development Specialist, and Christine Nelson, Regional Coordinator for the National Farm Worker Jobs Program, providing quality, comprehensive programs that create career pathways for vulnerable populations and provide growth and sustainability. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for inviting us.
This was Lifestyle Tucson.
A bing bong bing, time for a recap. What an inspiring conversation that was to re-listen to and edit. I really enjoyed it. It really is that they are laying down every single step, doing it the right way, and keeping people accountable to make sure that everyone's doing everything right. Helping people get a leg up is so important. I myself have a tough time navigating some of this stuff, especially when it comes to government things. And I know how hard it can be when you don't know what the future looks like. And as she's describing there, just thinking about what your aunts and your uncles did and what your parents did does not mean that's what you need to do. And they're offering a lot of opportunities for everybody to kind of get a more modern job or to get a more sustainable job. And that's really important. So why don't you get involved if you need this sort of help, or if you know someone in your life that might need this sort of help, go check everything out over at, pay attention, PPEP.NFJP.org. That is, of course, for PPEP, followed by National Farm Worker Jobs Program, because that's who they are, NFJP. You can get all the details on their website. They do have a Facebook page, so you can get everything there as well. Meet the team, or if you'd like to visit in person, it's 802 East 46th here in Tucson, 85713. And there's a lot of information out there. Contact them, read the testimonials, get some help, or get someone that you know the help that they need to get a brand new, not just job, but career. I really enjoyed that conversation. So I want to thank our new friends over at the National Farm Worker Jobs Program for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are. Being the change today. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. And Toot Toot Tucson, I love you the most.